A boy vanishes without a sound. A woman disappears while walking 100 yards ahead of her friends. An entire bus full of witnesses watch a man step off the vehicle and simply never arrive. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no trace. Between 1945 and 1950, 5 people disappeared inside a quiet stretch of Vermont wilderness, now called the Bennington Triangle. Each case stranger than the last. No pattern, no culprit, just silence. But what if it's not just who vanished, but how they vanished that changes everything? Because when you look deeper into the land, the legends, and the timeline, a haunting picture begins to form, one that challenges what we think we know about how someone, anyone, can simply stop existing. This is Mind Veil, where mystery meets memory, and the veil between them is always just a little too thin. The Bennington Triangle isn't on any official map. There's no road sign that warns you when you enter it. And yet, for over 75 years, it's been the epicenter of one of America's most unsettling, unsolved mysteries. Coined by author Joseph A. Citro in the 1990s, the term Bennington Triangle refers to a patch of southwestern Vermont centered around Glastenbury Mountain, an area once home to bustling industry, then slowly reclaimed by the woods. But the real story doesn't start with ghost tales or alien theories. It starts with a string of people, real people, who vanished without a trace. And it's how those disappearances unfolded that still leaves investigators and folklorists shaking their heads. The first known disappearance happened on November 12, 1945. Middie Rivers, a 74-year-old hunting guide familiar with every inch of the local forest, was leading a group near Hell Hollow Brook when he walked ahead of them, just out of sight. He was never seen again. Search teams combed the trails for weeks. All they found? A single rifle cartridge near a stream. Some said he bent over and it fell from his belt. Others wonder if it was a marker, the start of a pattern. Because what came next wasn't just similar. It was stranger. December 1st, 1946, a year later, 18-year-old Paula Welden, a Bennington College student, tells her roommate she's going hiking. She's last seen on the long trail, wearing a red jacket. Witnesses place her on the trail, including one who said she was about 100 yards ahead. Then, gone. No footprints, no signs of animal attack, no body. The search party included soldiers and even the FBI. Nothing was ever found. Was it foul play? Did she choose to vanish? Or was there something about that trail that took her? Investigators pointed to potential scenarios: an abduction, hypothermia, even voluntary disappearance. But Paula's case became so controversial that it led to the creation of the Vermont State Police in 1947, because at the time, Vermont had no central law enforcement agency. Even so, the official explanation? We just don't know. The case remains open. And that's what makes it so chilling, because it doesn't close a door, it opens 5. Humans aren't built to tolerate unexplained absence. We crave stories that make the world make sense. So when people disappear without reason, our minds create the reason. But what if the Bennington Triangle isn't just about isolated disappearances, but about the human need to explain the unexplainable? That's where the real phenomenon begins. December 1st, 1949. 3 years to the day since Paula vanished. James Tetford, a veteran and resident of the Bennington Soldiers' Home, boards a bus from St. Albans to Bennington. He's seen by multiple passengers. His luggage is still in the rack. His bus ticket is in his coat pocket. But when the bus arrives, James is gone, mid-ride, no stops. No one saw him leave. It's like he blinked out of existence. In a moving vehicle. This wasn't just strange. It was impossible. It wasn't until Joseph Citro, a Vermont-based folklorist, began compiling these cases that the term Bennington Triangle was born. Inspired by the Bermuda Triangle, he noticed how many vanishings, legends, and ghost stories all clustered around Glastenbury. By the 1990s, the name had stuck. Locals spoke of Native American warnings not to settle the mountain, of strange lights, of cursed lands, of stone cairns no one could explain. And yet, skeptics dismissed it all. Coincidence, they said, stories layered onto tragedy. But then came one more case that made the theory hard to ignore. October 28, 1950. Frieda Langer, an experienced hiker, goes walking with her cousin near Somerset Reservoir. She slips into a stream and tells him she's heading back to camp to change clothes. It's less than a mile, but she never arrives. Search teams, helicopters, dogs, all fail to find her, until 7 months later, when her body does appear in an area that had already been thoroughly searched. No cause of death was ever determined. Why was she the only one found? And why there then? The loop had closed, but the pattern was far from over. Skeptics offer grounded theories, wild animal attacks, sudden weather shifts, serial killer patterns, even misidentification and human error. But none of these explain the diversity of the disappearances or the lack of evidence. No signs of struggle, no bodies in most cases, no consistent terrain hazards, which brings us back to the question, is it more likely that we're missing evidence or that the evidence never existed? The Bennington Triangle now lives in folklore. It's inspired podcasts, documentaries, fictional thrillers, and even regional ghost tours. But its real impact lies in what it symbolizes. A place where people went missing, not just from space, but from narrative. We can't place blame. We can't explain away. We can only wonder. And that's where the Bennington Triangle gets its power. Remember the bus? The man whose ticket was still in his coat? The rifle cartridge with no hunter? The footprints that led nowhere? Each thread alone feels eerie. Together, they feel impossible. But maybe that's what makes the Bennington Triangle such a haunting puzzle. Because it's not just about what we know, it's about what we can't. A wilderness with no footprints. A timeline with no endings. A story with no resolution. Which leaves only one question. What if they didn't vanish? What if we just stopped being able to follow? If this mystery pulled you in, if you felt that chill run a little deeper, subscribe to Mind Veil, like the video, tap the bell, and share it with someone who still believes there are stories we haven't told yet. And if you want more strange disappearances, forgotten legends, and unsolved enigmas, click the top link in the description. Your next mystery is already waiting. Because this is Mind Veil, where mystery meets memory, and the veil between them is always just a little too thin.